Y'all ever heard this before? People say, well, success, success is not a clearly defined thing, right? They say success is, is what you make it, right? It's success is what you make it, right? And so they say everybody got different definitions on what success is, right? And so I was thinking about that. I was saying, well, if I got the power to make my own definition of success what it is, then there's really no boundaries for failure, right? You get what I'm saying? But I was thinking about this and I was like, wait, time out. I said, I think I might have figured out why so many people struggle at becoming successful. I actually think I might have figured out, maybe not, and I'm not saying this is the whole reason, right? Because there's multiple things, but I think I might have figured out why a lot of people struggle so hard at becoming successful. And one of those reasons being is the fact that you can make success whatever you want to make it. That's like, and I was saying to myself, that's like, let's take school for example, right? That's like a child going to school and there is no F. And a teacher saying, well, a passing grade is whatever you determine is passing. Right? Like we're going to do these assignments, but they're scoring, in other words, their score on a test. Like don't compare your score on a test to somebody else score on a test because we all have different definitions of what passing is. Right? So even though they got 100, you got a 40. Well, success might be to you a 40. Right? But they success is 100. I'm like, man, you know what you created? If that was in the academic world, man, you would create a whole generation of dumbasses because there is no standard of performance or standard of excellence, right? Regarding academics, right? I said, well, no, in school, right? I don't care where you're from, but in school, guess what they got? They have a grading scale. There's a grading scale in school, right? That lets a particular student know how bad or how well they're doing in school. It's a grading scale. Obviously, it goes all the way to the bottom at 0. It goes all the way up to 100, which is perfection. 100 is, man, you got everything right. 0, you ain't do jack squat. And so, and I know, I'm just doing the general grading scale. That's based on 10s just for the sake of this conversation. I know some grading scales is like every 8 points, you go down from A to B and all this kind of stuff. But I'm just saying for the sake of conversation, let's make it 10. So let's just say from a 90 to 100, anything from a 90 to 100, 100 is perfect. You got everything right. 90 is the benchmark. So from any score you get from 90 to 100, that's an A. Right? You consider A student. But then let's go from 80. Let's go from 80 to 89. That's a B. Then let's go, 70 to 79. Make that a C. And I'm doing the 10-point scale just to prove a point, right? Let's make that a C. 60 to 69 a D. And then anything under 60 is a F. You failed. Right? And the reason why I want to share this is because I don't know why this stuck out to me, but it did. But it really did. It really did. And I was thinking about this academically. Part of what makes a child or a student know that or feel good that I'm doing extremely well in school, right? And I can feel good about myself. Versus the kid that knows, man, I got to step it up because I'm stinking up the joint, right? It's a grading scale. It's a grading scale. And so they know if they take a test, take a quiz, do a paper, do a project, and if my scores are in this range, right, then that signals to me if I'm a student, a B student, a C student, a D student, I'm failing, right? It's a grading scale. And I was thinking about this. I said, okay, cool, right? And I said, you take, that's academics, but I said, you take sports, right? In sports, there's a record. Does that make sense? There's a record, right? There's also a scoreboard in sports. Throughout the course of a game in sports, I don't care what sport it is, there's a scoreboard, right? And the scoreboard is designed to give both teams and players some sense of performance status, right? To let the players or the team know, guess what? We're doing really, really well this game. Or if we stinging up the joint this game, right? Yesterday we had the Super Bowl. Well, guess what? Well, obviously we know the result of the game, right? Tampa Bay won, Kansas City lost. But throughout the game, guess what we all knew? Because of the scoreboard, we all knew how poorly Kansas City was playing, one. We also knew how good Tampa Bay was playing, too. But I was thinking about, imagine in sports if there was no scoreboard, right? How would you know, like just watching people play, like if there was no scoreboard or there wasn't an end zone that lets you know that when you cross this line, right, that means, man, you did well, right? They call it the end zone in football, right? Whenever you cross the end zone or the goal line, it's a signal to everybody on the field. It's the signal to everybody that's playing. It's a signal to all the fans in the stadium. It's a signal to all the people watching that TV that, hey, because we got this thing across this line, that means we are doing well. That means we are scoring points and putting ourselves in position to win. That's sports, right? And then after each individual game, guess what? You get a record. Team, you get a record, right? You say you get a record. Yeah. So like at the end of every game, guess what? You either win, right? Or you lost. But by the time you get to the end of the season, no matter what season it is, guess what? You can clearly know based on your record. So in sports, between a scoreboard and a wins-loss record, people can, listen, they can clearly determine if you are a winner or if your ass is a loser. They can clearly determine if you are successful or if your ass had a failing season. It's clear. Right? Academically, because there is a grading scale, right? And there is a report card or progress report. Guess every so often, guess what that means? That means all the children, all the students in school, guess what? They can clearly define how good they're doing in school versus how bad they're doing in school. They can clearly define because of a grading scale and because of a report card. They can clearly determine if I'm an honor roll student or I'm an F student, right? And what I'm saying is, and I'm using this for example, academics in sports, and I'm going to go to business because I think I figured out something. I think there's a bunch of talented people who's not playing at a high level of business. And the thing is unlike sports, where it's the performance scale or the grading scale, the wins-loss record is clear. Success is clearly defined. Does that make sense? The scoreboard tells you, right? If you're having success tonight, right? It's not random. It's not, see, in sports, it's not, imagine if sports was like this. Hey, listen, we gonna toss it up tonight. Hey, listen, hey, guess what? We're gonna toss it up tonight. There is no scoreboard, so however many points you score, you decide if you're doing well or not. You decide how well you're doing, right? So what I'm telling you is, we're not going to determine if you won or lost. You're going to do it, right? Based on how you feel. I'm a basketball guy. That ball can never go in the hoop. But if you just like, imagine this, if you just like how fast your team ran up and down the court, guess what? You can say y'all won. Yeah, you didn't put the ball in the hole more than other people, but your team ran faster. So if that's a winner, you ain't a loser. Even though the team scored more points than you, nah, you ain't no loser, because your definition of success in basketball ain't based on the ball going in the hole. Your definition of success in basketball is, do you have a faster freaking team? I know it sounds crazy, but imagine that. Imagine if we said the winner in losing football, it ain't based on how many times your team crossed that end zone or kicked that damn field goal. No. You actually have the power to say if your team got more tackles, right? Listen, you didn't score no points, but you can decide, like your definition of success is different. Yeah, Tampa Bay might define their success team. Tampa Bay might define their success as scoring touchdowns. Well, in the game of football, everybody got the right to determine what success is. So just because Tampa Bay defines success by scoring touchdowns, well, Tampa Bay, that don't mean you're a loser. I mean, Kansas City, that don't mean you're a loser. No. You can be a Super Bowl champion too, because all you have to do is say, well, we don't define success by touchdowns. We define success by tackles. So even though they're doing touchdowns, our success is on tackles. Yeah, we scored no touchdowns, but we did get tackles. That's how we define success. So even though we got our ass bust, I still look at myself like a winner, because my definition of success is different from the definition of success of the team we playing against. A team. Imagine that. That's like this, right? I'm going to go health-wise, right? Watch this. What if I said health? And I said, you know what? I don't care what my blood pressure is, because I'm not going to determine my health by my blood pressure. I'm not going to determine my health by cholesterol. My definition of successful health is not based on my height and weight. It's not based on that. My definition of health is based on what I make it. Right? So I could be big as a freaking house, but if I feel good today, then guess what? My health is successful. Damn the blood test, right? I'm not going to use none of them gauges to decide if I'm successfully healthy. I'm going to make success in health what I want to make it. Hey, team, how long you think my health going to be successful, right? I'm not going to base it on my muscle. I ain't going to base it on nothing there. I'm not going to base it on the percentage of body fat or whatever the issues is. I'm not going to base it how well I breathe. I ain't going to base it on, whatever. No blood test, no blood pressure, right? Because success in health is based on what watch this. I'm not going to compare my success in health with somebody who's in fitness or somebody who's just got great blood pressure numbers or whatever, 120 over 80, whatever. I'm not going to base it off that, because I'm not comparing my health to anybody else's health. Nah, health for me is whatever the flick I say it is. But y'all do realize that even in health, they got numbers. Team, that's number. When you go to the hospital and they run the tests on you, right? They even got what they call the stethoscope. Man, they checking your heartbeat. They know that if your heart ain't beating so many times per second or so many times per minute, whatever it is, they know something ain't right. Like there's some type of gauge. My point is, even in the health in the body, there's some type of gauge that medical professionals use to determine if your health is superb. Like, dog, you own it. Give me some freaking pound. You doing it, baby. Right? Keep up the good work. And there's some type of health gauge that they use to let you know if you're stinking up the freaking joint. I say, damn. There's a success gauge in health. There's a success gauge in academics. There's a success gauge, a success failure gauge, right? There's a success failure gauge in health. There's a success failure gauge in academics. There's a success failure gauge in sports. My question is, well, in entrepreneurship, how did we get to the financial side of stuff? And then who came up with the idea that said, you know what? Don't compare yourself to nobody else because your life ain't like nobody else. Nah, success for you ain't got shit to do with money. Nah. Success for you and your family is whatever you make it. And listen, think about that. Do you realize that philosophy is creating more financial failures than ever before? It's creating more failures. You say why? Because all that's doing is it's causing people to pick and choose their own freaking standards. So if I want to make $30,000 a year successful, but I can pay my bills, damn it, I can call that success. Shit, based on whose scale? If I'm only getting 2 checks a month, right, but I'm making an honest living, damn it, that's successful. Why? Why is that successful? Like, think about that. But because people can do that, what it's doing is it's killing or it's robbing people's desire to step their shit up. Because I can choose what success is and what it's not, I don't ever have to step it up. I don't ever have to change. I don't ever have to improve. Why? Because I determine what success is. Not you, I do. And if I want to make success the smallest amount of achievement possible, then damn it, that's what it is. I said, boy, rich people slick as shit. 18, rich people slick. Rich people slick as shit. You heard me? You say, what you mean rich people slick? Let me tell you how crazy the game is. Rich people done got so, you know, the richest game is to get richer. The rich get richer. But we not living in a time, I'm going to show you how crazy stuff is. We're not living in the times where people can legally discriminate against one group of people from having access or going to achieve whatever amount of success they want to achieve, right? There was a time where, you know, they had laws set up, you know, you couldn't do this, couldn't go here, all this kind of stuff. We don't live in them times. So, but the desire of the rich getting richer is still there. This thing is still about class, but I'm saying, well, man, boy, the rich people done got so slick that they found one of the most creative ways to keep the poor indirectly. Oh, but let me say this. Wait. No, let me take it back. The rich have found one of the most slick, creative ways to keep poverty in the hands of the poor without taking from the poor. I'm going to say it again. The rich have found one of the slickest, most creative ways to keep poverty in the hands of the poor without taking from the poor. You say, Twine, how they did it? They did it by what I'm teaching y'all tonight. Guess what they did? They just allowed the poor to determine what success is for themselves. And they told y'all, don't compare yourself to us no more. No. Don't compare yourself to a millionaire because you don't know their journey. Don't compare yourself to a billionaire. No. Don't compare yourself to an owner. No. Here's how we're going to keep poverty around the poor without taking from the poor. We're just going to let you determine what success is for you. Never compare yourself to me. Never compare yourself to my achievement. Never compare yourself to my bank account or my income tax return. Don't compare yourself to me because you are running your own lane. You're living your own life. And so guess what? Because you're not comparing yourself to the A students, because you're not comparing yourself to the Super Bowl champs, because you're not comparing yourself to the NBA finals, because you're not comparing yourself to the MVPs, because you're not comparing yourself to people that's in, superb fitness. Your ass is thinking success is actually, you thinking failure is actually success because they allowed you to create your own gauge. And I say, damn, this is amazing. I say, wait a minute. In business, how do you define success? Think about this. How do you define success in business? What is the threshold of success in business? Think about that. If academics is grading scale report card, if sports is the scoreboard and the wins-loss column, if in the music business is album sales, streams, or whatever the case they do, right? Awards or whatever. In business, entrepreneurship, my question is, what is the grading scale that we going by or that you go by to prove or to give yourself some type of performance evaluation? Like, because with the track, and I realized, I say, damn, people always like to say, well, you can't define success by how much money somebody makes. All right, okay, all right, let's go with that. All right, so let's take money off the table. All right, so we're not gonna base it on how much money. Okay, that ain't your definition of success. Okay, so in entrepreneurship, How do you define if you're successful or if you're failing? How do you define? If you're not going to use money, you're not going to use money as an evaluator of how successful or how much somebody sucks in business, then what standard of measurement are you going to use in entrepreneurship? That when all entrepreneurs come to the game, they can use as a scale, or they can use as some type of judgment or some type of evaluator to let them know, hey, I'm killing it right now. I'm doing my thing. If we're not going to use money, man, I'm doing my thing, right? I'm because of this scale, this shows me I'm doing it. Or what grading scale do you use to let an entrepreneur know? Just like an F student can see an F. See, a student can see an F. A student can see a D. Get it? They can look at the report card and the parent can say, bro, you got to step this shit up. This is terrible. Like, look at these scores. This is horrible. You got to get more serious. You got to get more committed. See, your child's got a progress report. They got report cards. They got tests and quizzes. In sports, I can look at how many points you scored or how many plays you made. I can look at the scoreboard. I can look at your wins and loss column and tell them this team is either not that talented or this team is not playing hard enough to get the wins. I can actually go clearly define that. But what I'm saying is, in entrepreneurship, what's the grading scale? The line between, hey, if you're doing it on this level, hey, you can consider yourself successful. If you're doing it under this level, you're stinging up the joint. What's the entrepreneurial gauge? Because everybody likes to say, well, you can't determine it by money. No problem. Team, watch this. A large part of helping people improve their life is making failure obvious. I'm going to say this again. A large part of helping people improve their life is making success specific, but making failure obvious. I'm trying to think I figured something out. I know why most people don't make a big income. You know why? Because success ain't specific. Success is optional for you. You can pick and choose what you want the shit to be. Stop that. That's like a damn student making a 10 on the test talking about, hey, it ain't zero. Frick is you talking about? No, you're going to have to step it up more. You're going to step it up more. But see, when success becomes specific and failure becomes obvious, now that creates the performance gauge where people know where they actually need to make adjustments and improvements by a certain time to pass on to the next level or to grow on the next level. See, I'm on something different, man. I'm on something different. It hit me the other day, bro, and I'm like, man, I'm about to flip the script because people done got too comfortable failing. Right now, when I was in school, failure was obvious. I know when I go get that test, well, I was straight into what I'm saying, but I knew that if I didn't go get them answers right, I knew what an F meant. I knew what a certain score meant. I know what a 40 means. I know what a 50, 55, 60 means. I know what that shit means because failure was obvious and success was specific. I knew exactly what I needed to do to go be an A student. Does that make sense? Man, even in sports, because success was specific game to game, right? Because success was specific year to year in our record, right? And failure was obvious. See, when I was in college, we knew that if we did not win a certain amount of games by the time we hit the tournament, we don't have a shot to play for a championship. See, failure was obvious. Success was specific. And because of that, we could gauge how much harder we had to go and practice day to day. I could look at myself. If I had a desire to go play on the next level, I can actually look at my point total. I can look at my assist total based on what they evaluate point guards in going on the next level. I can look at it. So if I know my point average was low or my assist average was low, I know how much harder I needed to perform or how much more efficient I needed to be on the court to get a look at playing pro ball. I knew that. See, success was specific and failure was obvious. But in entrepreneurship, y'all making your own damn levels. Wonder why we got more failures than successes. You don't think that's weird? See, that's a freaking aha moment. Nobody on here can think about how crazy it is. We got people from I got people from all different countries, states, cities and states on the live, right? Watch this. Not a damn one of y'all can, watch this. If I say, listen, everybody what is failure in business? Everybody got different answers. That's crazy. But in school, if I say, what's a failing grade? All y'all gonna give me the same answer. If I say in sports, how you know a team failed? Well, that's simple, Twine. Even if I ain't a football fan, if you got less points than the other team, you lost. I know that. Hey, listen, right? Is that not crazy? Why don't most people win in life? Most people don't win in life because success is not specific and failure is not obvious. And you are in control of the standard. Man, you're gonna stay on the bottom. That's why they got a top 1%. There's a top 1%, a bottom 99. Most people gonna stay on the bottom 99. You want to know why? Because you controlling the success gauge. That's why.